A location for the museum could be announced as early as 2016, with funding, design and construction processes to follow.
Yeah, positive, isn't it?
Good stuff, absolutely.
That we're looking for a permanent base. Obviously, 2020's a while off, but it certainly gives the charity plenty of time. And it's a growing charity that people are always getting behind, and every time Don Manfredi swears on Sky Sports, they'll get another donation going their way as well.
Cheeky little scamp.
So,
cheeky
all
little
good.
scamp, isn't it?
So that'll be exciting. I would hope it's somewhere prominent. The football museum's in Manchester, isn't it? So I don't know if they'd be seen as rivals in the same place, but Leeds is a big city with a big rugby league heritage, and
it is, and it's pretty central as well.
Yeah,
to rugby league land. So
exactly. Yeah,
that might be a good option, I would suggest.
The other option, obviously, is building it on like Saddleworth Moor or something, and everyone gets
exactly.
on the motorway.
Just off a junction. I'll tell you where you put it. You put it at that junction on the M62 where they've had to build around that farmer's house.
You do put it maybe in the house, yeah.
Put it there. Everyone gets in. You can just nip in during a traffic jam.
What's his face? Dave Hadfield, I think, in one of his books, suggested that would be the perfect place to put a statue or a monument to Rugby League, would be at the split in the motorway.
If we ever needed a national stadium for Rugby League, that's where you'd put it, isn't it? That'd be perfect, wouldn't it?
We will. I don't know if our players could cope playing at that altitude, but if they can learn to, it certainly would be an advantage, wouldn't it?
It's good, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Okay, that's the news from around the world of Rugby League. Let's take a look back now at round 5 of Super League. So, the week's Super League action kicked off on Thursday night with two of this season's most improved sides in a lot of ways, taking each other on down at the Select Security Stadium. But actually it was a very one-sided affair, with Widnes coming out 46 points to 6 winners over a very drab-looking Hull FC side, Mark.
Well, they started well, Hull.
They got off to a good start. And bombed some chances, and Widnes went on to just dominate.
Yeah, Widnes, they're so good in attack, aren't they?
But then again, in defence this week as well.
Well, they were helped a little bit by, like you say, Hull letting themselves down a little bit, and obviously, like the video ref call when it was it 6-6 at the time, for the high tackle in the air was a bit.
That was the iffy one. The other two were right to be chalked off.
Dead set, yeah.
So. And that was the thing that upset me more, watching that and listening to Sky's commentary of it, was kind of them talking about, well, these tries were chalked off and Hull FC would be in a good would be in a healthy lead if it hadn't been for that. But they didn't score the tries.
Yeah.
So they should have been chalked off. So you can't. It just sometimes irritates me that that's the narrative spin that Sky will put on it. I'm sure they don't do it on purpose.
It was far more fucking irritating the Leicester City talk. Well, starting that now.
No, we're not doing that.
Yeah.
No.
But they're definitely, I'd say, that the Batley of Super League this year.
That is high praise. Batley are doing very, very well.
But no, in all seriousness, like Hull FC, they could have had a couple more tries if they hadn't cost themselves the chances. What else happened is they cost themselves the ability to stay in the game with the mentality. They just lost the nuts. Yeah. Especially early doors in the second half, I felt like they were all blowing the tops at everything that didn't go for them, which was mostly things that were self-controlled anyway. And Widnes, on the other hand, just didn't care about the superfluous stuff to the action. Yeah. They just got on with it. Yeah. They just played rugby league to the most exciting and highest level, and they were tremendous. If passes go forward, and they don't care. Sometimes they're going for them, sometimes they're getting called back. They're just throwing the ball around, and they're looking for gaps, and they're finding spaces like no other team.
They look good to watch, and the thing is, I think what this game and this result illustrates for me is the difference in calibre between the two head coaches. Dennis Betts had figured out how he was going to set up to play this Hull FC side, and they did. They played him on the fringes, and they found the space, and they exploited the size of this Hull FC pack.
They made Frank tackle.
They got him blowing, and they ran at Frank Pritchard, but they were running at Gaz Ellis as well, and they were making all that big back row. They were making it work hard. The only one that looked reasonable, Sikamanu looked the best out of the three of them for me, because he's a little bit more nimble. But even then, he misses
a lot of tackles.
Exactly, he does miss a tackle. And I just thought Dennis Betts outdid
Yeah,
Lee Radford for me, and there is no
strange decision.
There's no
to put
plan B.
Minicello and Watts on the bench as well. Watts, I don't know if he was being punished for the offload at the end of last week's game.
Seems weird to start with him on the bench.
But Minicello even more so. I mean,
yeah,
you sort of asking for trouble because he's a bit of a. I get the feeling he's a bit of a hothead. He's better building into the game than coming off the bench like that. That's the first time he's come off the bench for Hull, but he didn't seem to be able to pull them with him.
No.
Do you see what I mean?
Yeah, I agree. And you know, with a more cohesive team, the Kevin Brown Joe Mellor combination for me works so well in the halves. They just get. It's so hard to contain that when those two are on form because Kevin Brown can distribute the ball as well as he can run it into the line.
Yeah,
so it's tough to read. Mellor's got a turn of pace. We've got pace and ability and finishing throughout that back line as well. Like the centres look good and strong. Stephen Marsh and
they were forced.
Your man Thompson on the other side. They just look good.
With Bridge going off, they were forced into putting Christine in the centres, and he, showed some nice dummy and footwork and stuff to find space. And Reece Hambury's outstanding.
Yeah,
Marsh and Thompson they're finishing well, and Thompson's a really good kick return. And Stephen Marsh isn't a winger in my book. He isn't really a top draw player from anything I've ever seen of him in his career so far.
No,
but this year he's absolutely knocking it out of the park.
Yeah.
The player I don't think is getting any credit, and I'd like to give him some. There's two really. Lloyd White and Hep Cahill.
Yeah.
Now, anyone who's got Hep Cahill in the Dream Team League will know how many points he's scoring because of the constant effort he's putting in defence for that team, which you need to have from your back row when your halfbacks are Joe Mellor and Kevin Brown, to be perfectly honest, and to leave them fresh to do what they're doing going forward as well, and not expose your side to the frailties that they sometimes show in defence.
Yeah.
But Lloyd White has been outstanding. His timing of when to run, when to go, his support play's been excellent. He's been staying on the pitch a little bit sometimes when Jeremiah's coming on as well to give one of the back three a break. And it's just, I think he's been outstanding. I don't think people are talking about some of these cogs in the pack that are performing so well. It's like it's holding it all together or linking it all together. When the three star players, Brown, Mellor and Hambury, are obviously getting the highlights, and Corey Thompson's scoring every try going.
But it's exactly those nuances that you're talking about that colour the idea that Dennis Betts is a superior coach to Lee Radford, because those things are in place and those little details are there to be seen, and Widnes certainly this week reaped the rewards from it, and the tremendous start that they've made to the Super League season continues. And from my point of view as a neutral observer of Super League, long may it continue. I'm not sure how they'll go over the rest of the year, but it's good to see someone different being in the mix, isn't it?
Definitely. What will be better to see is more than the 4,700 people that were there last time these two played on a Thursday night. There was a good 500 or 600 more there, so it's not necessarily the Thursday night thing, I don't think, but three more breaks, 450 more metres, and that ended up with a 9-try-1 difference for the home side. They had quite a bit more ball, 59 more carries, and made fewer errors, 9 compared to Hull FC's 11. So obviously all that put together means a home rout.
Yes, it does. So who stood out individually then? We've said a lot of these names already, really, haven't we?
Stephen Marsh with 3 tackles, 132 running metres. Reece Hambury got himself 3 tries for Stephen Marsh. What did I say? Tackles. Reece Hambury with
probably about the same.
Yeah, he probably did have 3 tackles, 1 try assist, 6 tackle busts, 110 metres, 2 clean breaks. Kevin Brown with a try, 2 try assists. That kick for Thompson's first try was outstanding. 5 tackle busts, 2 clean. He's at 2 clean breaks, 3 successful offloads, and Joe Mellor with a try and 2 try assists. He's
well, they just work so well. They just, that whole, they can interplay well together. When they split the halves, it makes them just as threatening because you don't know which way the player's going to go.
And they've got a genuine really second receiver threat both sides with Reece Hambury as well out the back.
Exactly. So no, they're great to watch at the minute.
For Hull FC, Frank Pritchard had a try and 107 metres. He made 25 tackles in this game as well, so that's blown that conversation out of the water a bit. Danny Houghton
Do you know?
I don't know the numbers, but he made them. It was the fact that he wasn't even making any of those
that's true.
situation before. Danny Houghton with a try assist, 41 tackles, 11 of which were marker tackles, and Gareth Ellis, who didn't have his best game, I would have to say, but 42 tackles from him was still a captain's effort.
Of course, and he continues to play like a man 10 years his junior.
Yeah, and obviously he was the one who had to come out and talk about the dressing room issue with shutting the coaches out of the dressing room to talk about the game or the failings in the game afterwards. What was your take on that? I think it was blown up to a point of pantomime about there's a mutiny on here, or the coaches lost the players. I thought it more of senior players.
I think you say it because I think I'm going to agree with you. I think it's the senior guys in that squad have gone, no boss, we'll handle this.
Yeah.
And they've shut the doors and they've said, right, we as a group need to pull out. It hasn't.
Our coaches didn't prepare us to go out there and perform like we just performed. No, so we need to take some accountability is how I saw it. Yeah.
I played for it when, in my limited experience playing rugby, I've played for coaches who will do like a bit of the preparatory stuff and then we'll leave, like for the last 5-10 minutes before a game, we'll leave the room and let the team motivate themselves and the senior guys stand up and you get your heads on. And so I don't think it's anything beyond that, to be honest with you. I think it's a bit of a conspiracy theory that they've kicked Lee Radford out of the changing rooms.
Maybe the way Radford said it.
The way Radford looks is it's more like he's walked into the wrong fucking one and not realised. So who knows? But so with it being a Thursday night game, we did get a lot of people getting in touch with us. Mark Butler said Harlem Globetrotters, 1970 Brazil and Widnes 2016. In seriousness though, it might have unfolded differently if Hull's disallowed tries had gone the other way, although the decisions were correct, in his opinion. But Widnes look full of it to strike from anywhere and take advantage when on top. Something to be said about the club's faith in Betts. Couldn't agree more. I think he's been a fantastic coach for them and they've had that steady improvement since they returned to Super League a few years ago. Darren LBW said watching Widnes tonight was a treat. If they can keep fit and do the same away from home, then they should be a real threat. Paul O'Brien said that, he got in touch and said, what a game. After going 6-0 down, which could easily have gone to 12 if it had not been for a video ref decision, Widnes then started playing how they have all season. A great kicking game and some fantastic tries. To keep Hull to only 6 points shows that we are good in both attack and defence. Not getting carried away yet, but it's nice to be top. Sean Alton, Bruiser 664, said most clubs train on artificial turf but play on grass. Widnes' pitch should be closer to what they're used to. If anything, Widnes are at more of a disadvantage having to play half their matches on grass than everyone else playing one match not on grass. It's not a bad point.
Yeah, I think we've made that sort of point before us.
Not a bad point at all.
In the season's gone by. And I'll stick by it.
Yeah, no, I'm with him on that. Chris Macy got in touch. Pretty comprehensive tonight. Widnes were just so brilliant in attack. A serious amount of synergy in the squad at the moment. Gavin, he said, are Widnes the standout team so far this season? Because they've lost a game, and because they've played a game more, and because the two teams below them are undefeated, I'm not inclined to say that they're the standout team, but they're certainly performing and playing a brand of rugby that's probably better than I would suggest Wigan have been producing. Wigan have been winning games, but they've been grinding.
Their attack is so much more potent than the others. I mean, we saw the stats from the Hull KR game. They basically bombed a number of scores. They could have put 50 on them as well. They nearly went 50 this week. They went 50 on Leeds. I think if anything, their attack is so good that they're just doing so much with the ball. They're not having to rely on their defence. I think when the defence has been challenged, they've obviously stood up to it at home. They've conceded some points away. So it's going to be interesting to see how they get on in the next round.
Well, particularly this weekend coming up as well. Wally Frogmore, does Widnes have a bandwagon or is it actually a longboat? Nice work, sir. Like stuff. Andy Barker, the whole team should be more than a match for Widnes, and the fault lies solely with Radford. The team were devoid of ideas, and the tactics seemed to be one-up rugby with no signs of a plan B. Widnes looked very good and deserved the win. However, I do not think they will get anything at Wigan.
Andy's selling a chair if anyone's interested. Look at his Facebook, his Twitter.
Good stuff.
Yeah.
Fucking hell.
I'll give him a shout out.
Gumtree as well. Right, good stuff. Are you getting a cut of this chair or what?
No.
He's just selling a chair.
I just saw a chair.
Has he made it himself? What's special about this chair? Does he just want shut of it, or is it like...
I think probably with the is another one of the SLP people that had a baby sort of towards the back end of the off season, wasn't he? So
he needs to sell the chair for nappy money.
Or he just has other things to put in the house now. You know, babies come with a lot of stuff.
They do come with a lot of stuff. Well said, Mark.